Hey guys, it's Friday, and it's the Friday before Memorial Day. And I don't know about y'all, but I am really ready for this. But please be careful. Uh, I'm really worried about Memorial Day. I'm seeing all these pictures of everybody congregating in different places and everything, and I'm getting really worried. So I know though that I can count on y'all. Y'all have been working the last 2, 3 months practically, and you've been staying very safe. So please, please stay safe over Memorial Day. But enjoy it. But enjoy it. You may have noticed that this paycheck is a little bit more than you might have been used to for most of you, for many of you, because we paid out for the UDS Quality Performance Incentive. The bonus went out and it should be in your paycheck, and that should be a little nice gift for the Memorial Day weekend. And on the next paycheck, and that's the June 5th paycheck, the pandemic thank you incentive bonus is going out. And I think you'll be real pleased by that. Denise Ellis, our Chief Personnel Officer, worked really hard to figure out how to do this. And it's a board approved policy. It is going out in 3 tiers. So we've divided staff up into 3 tiers. And those 3 tiers are the first tier, and frankly, the tier that gets the most money, is for the staff that were face-to-face in direct care with patients. And then the next tier is for staff who were in patient care areas or what have you, and were at a higher risk, but necessarily didn't spend a lot or all of their time doing face-to-face. So that was the second tier. And then the third tier was for those who were telecommuting. These were essential staff, and they oftentimes worked harder in their telecommuting capacity, and they kept the very essential wheels of Care South Carolina still rolling. So it's a 3-tier approach, and I hope y'all are going to look forward to that and be pleased with what we were able to figure out and do for that bonus, which is on the June 5th paycheck. I've got a few other announcements, and I've got one that I just am so happy to announce. We have added someone to the executive management team. And we have, in the past, had a position called the Chief of Nursing. And now Tracy Thigpen, who has been Director of Nursing, has stepped up, and she is now on the executive management team. That is so exciting. I'm so glad that she has agreed to be part of our team. We're a good team, but we've kind of been missing having someone from nursing on that. And I'm real excited to have Tracy Thigpen formally join the executive management team. Last week I talked about reopening because a lot of you had asked some questions. You've been hearing about the reopenings all around, the restaurants and so forth. We need to do reopening very carefully. We have been watching and looking at the CDC guidelines. We've been looking at what other organizations, other FQHCs are doing. Denise Ellis, Chief Personnel Officer, and Peggy Foster, our Chief Operating Officer, have formed a work team, and they've been working very diligently to determine how can we reopen. But when we reopen, our number one priority still remain to keep you, staff, safe, and to keep patients safe. So you're going to hear from them next Thursday, May 28th. They're going to bring to you via video the reopening plan so that you can get an idea and kind of wrap your hands around what our plans are, how we're going to do that in a safe manner. We're looking forward to this, but I want to say something about reopening. This is an unprecedented opportunity. We've been closed. Healthcare across the nation has been closed. And we've learned an awful lot about how to bring care to folks and how different things feel when you're in the middle of addressing a pandemic like the coronavirus was. We've learned a lot about telehealth, and we've learned a lot and heard a lot of what our patients are telling us. We don't want to reopen with business as normal. We don't want crowded waiting rooms. We don't want patients having to wait for appointments. We don't want patients who have a lot of other priorities in their life no showing for appointments because they couldn't get transportation or they had other things going on at home. We don't want that. We want to be able to figure out how we can change the model of our care and take a lot more things out to patients. There's actually a work group that's going on now across the nation that we are really happy to be part of. It's called The Office Visit is a Dinosaur. And the meteor that took out the dinosaurs is COVID-19. So we want to redesign. We want to rethink. We're about to purchase about 5 mobile vans. Now, these aren't buses like we already have where patients go into the bus to get care. No, these are actually mobile vans. Originally, we'll be using them for testing. They're kind of like a tricked out camper van. And we'll be taking a team out. We'll be taking teams out for testing initially using these vans. But what if in the future we could go out and we could park in church parking lots, school parking lots, and tell our patients, hey, we'll be right here. We're close to you now. We can do your hemoglobin A1C check. We can do a blood test. We can do a blood pressure screening. And if we need to, we can hook you up with your provider who could be 20 miles away, but we can do that by telehealth. So we're really going to think a redesign, a new opportunity to think about what the future is. How can we really think about the office visit being a dinosaur? Because the meteor that hit was the coronavirus, and it could blow up the way we've used to be doing things, and we could come away with a whole new exciting model. I'm really looking forward to this. I think we've got a lot of opportunity. I want to catch you up on testing, the virus testing that we've been doing. I think last time I actually came to you from Bishopville. I was there and we were testing in Bishopville at the Chapel Park setting in conjunction with DHEC. I hope you recognized me. I had my mask on and people were saying, we can't even tell who that is. That was me. We ended up that day testing 505 people. It was amazing. The majority of them came from Bishopville and the surrounding communities, so we really did a great service in getting to the folks in that area who've been having a pretty bad experience in terms of the cases and even the deaths that had been in Lee County. We are going forward in another big testing event in collaboration with the Department of Health in Latta. That's scheduled for next Friday, 1 week away, Latta on May the 29th. We're going to be doing it there in Latta at the high school. It'll be another drive-up testing event, and we certainly hope we have as good of an experience as we have had now in Society Hill and also in Bishopville. But don't forget, we're also doing drive-up testing in many of our own sites and offices. It's kind of been word of mouth because we run out of testing kits. We don't have the supplies to test everyone that comes through. So we make sure that before we open up our testing on any given day that we have a good supply of testing kits, and we test until we run out of kits. Last week, for example, we did as many drive-up tests in our own offices as we did at the DHEC Bishopville event. So we'll continue with that, and hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more. We do have some plans to collaborate with Department of Health, and maybe can bring some larger scale testing to Bennettsville and to Chesterfield over the month of June. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But we are a good partner with DHEC. We certainly have appreciated being that partnership and hope to be able to continue that. So folks, that's really about it for Friday. We're busy. We're still doing our task force meetings, but we're only doing them every other day now. We think we've kind of got in ourselves in a groove here, and next week we'll be doing them on Tuesday and Thursday, but other than that, we've been doing it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I know that for many of y'all, you're also hearing things from your supervisor or your site administrator or your team lead, like in risk officers, some of the updates that comes out of that group. We've learned a lesson with communication. We've learned how important it is for y'all. And we're going to figure out a way to really make sure that we keep a communication model that we've learned in this COVID-19 crisis, that we keep the best practices from that. And we learn how to communicate more effectively and regularly with y'all. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, once again, stay safe. Be very careful over the Memorial Day weekend. I know everybody's tired of being cooped up, but we're really hoping that the middle of June doesn't end up with a resurgence of this virus. We certainly don't need that to happen. Stay safe. Keep healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.